Hey guys! So today we're going to be going over excess and shortage problems. If you've never heard of excess and shortage before, excess means to have too much of something and shortage means to have too little of something. So there's a really easy formula that you can use when solving these types of problems, and this formula will get you the answer to how many things that the objects are being divided among. This can be, objects being divided among people, objects being divided among days, or objects being divided among baskets or bins. And this formula is excess plus shortage divided by the difference in the number of objects being divided. So let's do our first practice problem. In this problem, a teacher has a bag of candies that she wants to give out among her students. If she gives each student 3 pieces of candy, she has an excess of 16 pieces, which means she has 16 pieces left over. If she gives each student 5 pieces of candy, she is short 4 pieces of candy. And the problem wants to know how many students are in her class. So to find out how many students in our class, we can use the formula we talked about earlier, because the number of students in her class is the number of people or things that the objects, the candies, are being divided among. So we use our formula, excess plus shortage, 16 plus 4, divided by the difference in the number of objects. The difference in the number of objects. 5 minus 3. So, 16 plus 4 equals 20. 5 minus 3 equals 2. Finally, we can simplify that to 20 divided by 2 equals 10. So, using the formula, we know that there are 10 students in the teacher's class. So now we know that there are 10 students in the teacher's class, but now the problem asks us how many pieces of candy does the teacher have? So to solve for that, we just need to do a little bit of algebra. So let's use the first scenario, where each student has 3 pieces of candy. If we do 10 students times 3 pieces of candy each, plus 16, because the teacher has 16 extra after she gives them all out, we'll end up with 30 plus 16, and that gives us 46 pieces of candy. We could also use the other scenario where each student is given 5 pieces of candy. In that case, we would do 10 times 5, 10 students times 5 pieces of candy per student, minus 4, because the teacher doesn't have 4 pieces of candy, the teacher is missing 4 pieces of candy if she gives 5 to each student. So 10 times 5 is 50, minus 4, and you'd still get 46 pieces of candy. Let's do one more practice problem. In this problem, Mr. Miller buys a basket of apples for his family. If 4 apples are eaten every day, the family will have 24 apples left over for a certain number of days. If 6 apples are eaten every day, they'll be short 8 apples for that same number of days. The question asks, how many days are these apples being eaten for? To find the number of days, we're going to use the formula from the beginning again. So we'll do 24 plus 8 divided by 6 minus 4. 24 plus 8 equals 32. 6 minus 4 equals 2. If we simplify that, 32 divided by 2 is 16. So the basket of apples will be eaten for 16 days. The second part of this problem asks to find the number of apples in the basket. Since we know that the apples are being eaten for 16 days, we can use either one of these scenarios to find the total number of apples in the basket. Using the first scenario, we can do 16 days times 4 apples eaten per day plus 24, since they'll have 24 left over. 16 times 4 is 64 plus 24 is equal to 88. Using the other scenario, we can do 16 days times 6 apples eaten per day minus 8. So 16 times 6 is 96 minus 8 still equals 88. So now we know that there are 88 apples in the basket that Mr. Miller buys for his family.